I know this isn't a new take or anything, but I feel cheated. I feel so cheated so badly that I feel like I have to rewrite the story. So yeah, let's talk about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It is the 4th book in the Hunger Games series, but it is the prequel. So technically it is not number 4, it is 0. Now, I guess a lot of people might know about it now that its adaptation comes out this November in theaters, but amongst like my friends IRL, a lot of them didn't even know this book existed, and I didn't really either. However, I didn't even read The Hunger Games until this year. So like, I'm behind on everything as usual. But I was really excited because the year I read The Hunger Games, a new Hunger Games movie is coming out. And I was like, let's do it. Let's read the prequel. Let's see what's going on. And I feel cheated. I feel cheated. I thought the book was good until it wasn't. So let's take a quick look at the synopsis. We have ambition will fuel him. Wrong. Competition will drive him. Wrong again. And then it says, but power has its price. And that's also wrong, because ambition, competition, and power, it's all by chance. Snow does not work for any of it. It just all happens accidentally. All right, now let's move further down. Let's see what it says. It says, it's the morning of the reaping that will kick off the 10th annual Hunger Games. In the capital, 18-year-old Coriolanus Snow is preparing for his one shot at glory as a mentor in the games. The once mighty House of Snow has fallen on hard times, its fate changing on the slender chance that Coriolanus will be able to outcharm, outwit, and outmaneuver his fellow students to mentor the winning tribute. The odds are against him. He's been given the humiliating assignment of mentoring the female tribute from District 12, the lowest of the low. Their fates are now completely intertwined. Every choice Coriolanus makes could lead to favor or failure, triumph or ruin. Inside the arena, it'll be a fight to the death. Outside the arena, Coriolanus starts to feel for his doomed tribute and must weigh his need to follow the rules against his desire to survive no matter what it takes. So like, sure. But the reading experience, it wasn't great. To put it shortly, it was not good. When I went into reading this prequel, I expected the fast-paced, suspenseful nature that I got reading The Hunger Games. You know what I mean? And I also expected to live the details that Finnick revealed in Mockingjay. You know, like, I wanted to see what Snow is doing. I wanted to live that. I wanted to know who he was poisoning. I wanted to know why. You know, I wanted to know the dark side, the side that we never got to see, the side we only got to hear about. You know, that's what I wanted. And what I got instead was something that was really slow paced, which at first I didn't mind. I was like, okay, I get it. It's Snow, you know, maybe it doesn't have to be, maybe that's just the way his point of view works. It's just a slower pace. And I was like, that's fine. I'll just take my time with it. But yeah, by the end, I was like, wow, I was tricked. Now, I will say though that some of the positives were, well, there's only really one. I could tell that Collins she made an effort to drop some things in there that makes you be like, yes, this is a Hunger Games novel, and make it's like, oh, this is how this happens. So for example, at the end of the book, which it was so rushed, which I think also like terrible, but like all of a sudden Snow hates mockingjays, so it's like you can connect the dots like, oh, no wonder he hated Katniss like as much as he did. Like, of course he already hated her, but like it just puts things in perspective. Like, Snow hated mockingjays as a kid, and now Katniss is called the Mockingjay. That's cool. Also, the Hanging Tree. We got the origin story of that song, which personally I think that was my favorite. I really enjoyed getting to learn the backstory of that song and how it got passed down through the generations, and then how Katniss ended up singing it. I really enjoyed that. I think that's it. That is all that I enjoyed. The fact that she like put crumbs in this prequel so that, you know, we could have them, you know, just have things be related. And I like that. But apart from that, it was pretty just not good, kind of boring. So like, things that I did not like about it, there like were no stakes. Snow was like poor, yes, and blah blah blah, but like his backstory of him being poor didn't really impact like what happened, because as I said, everything that happened, which is something I also don't like, it was an accident. It was all an accident. He did not do anything to get where he was. Everything happened by chance, basically. Like, he got assigned the lowest of the low, Lucy Gray, and he, like, I guess helped her cheat in a way, so she won. But like, it didn't even matter, because like, I don't know why that was like a stake when he just got like put into training to be a peacekeeper. You know what I mean? Like, he could have just done that in the first place, or gotten a job that paid enough, you know? So the winning of the Hunger Games didn't actually technically help him, right? It was the act of him cheating, which got him caught, which made him, yeah, a peacekeeper. And I think his family still had to ask for help, money-wise. So like, that whole backstory of him being poor, it literally had nothing to do like with anything. So there was no stakes, no payoff. Every relationship in the book amounted to nothing. So for example, his relationship with his family, that was not useful in the book at all. Like, his family played zero part in anything in the story. So like, why did they get so much page time? His relationship with Sejanus, pointless. That did not move the story along at all. That storyline was dumb and stupid, because it just ended up with him, Sejanus, getting killed. And again, it was Snow's fault, but it was on accident, you know? It wasn't Snow's ruthlessness or mercilessness or whatever. Like, it was an accident. Like, he accidentally got Sejanus killed. And then his relationship with Lucy Gray, that was dumb, because like, they were gonna run away. They were gonna run away together, but what? What? It didn't even make any sense. Like, all of a sudden they're in love, and then at the end they're gonna run away together. And then they're in the process of running away, and then out of nowhere, it was really not a good reveal, Lucy figures out that like, Snow got Sejanus killed indirectly, you know, accidentally or whatever. And then he like tries to find her and kill her, but we don't even know if she got killed or not. And that's how the book ends. It's really bad. It's ridiculous. And then we get the epilogue. The epilogue should have been what the book was about. The epilogue was about something about, I don't even remember. How long was it? Because after chapter 26, I just finished the rest on audio because I couldn't deal with it anymore. Let's see. The epilogue was... Jesus. Hold on. Stick with me here, people. Okay, the epilogue. Yeah, it was like 6 pages. Just something about he poisoned someone. I think that was the main point. He poisoned someone, and you should know not to mess with Snow from here on out. Yeah. Although he couldn't help hoping that as the dean drew from... Although he couldn't help hoping that as the dean drew his final breath, he'd realize what so many others had realized when they would challenge him. But all Panem would know one day what was inevitable. Snow lands on top. So yeah, it's like that should have been the book about him, about people who challenge him, and how he poisoned people and what he went through, blah blah blah, why he chose to do that. You know what I mean? Okay, so now let me talk about how I guess I would have approached writing this book. And let me just start with the acknowledgement that the toxicity of publishing this and publishing that is that I bet the book was written how it was written because it needed to be a YA book. It needed to be a YA book for stupid reasons, you know, limiting the possibilities of the art. Like, they might as well have not written it because it was 500 pages of literally nothing. It was written like a prequel to what should have been the prequel, you know what I mean? And so if it had to be YA, I would have formatted it like the other Hunger Games novels. We would have like woken up on like the day of the reaping, right? But instead of it being from the people who are going to the reaping, you know, the people from the districts, instead of it being from their point of view, obviously in the Hunger Games, that would be Katniss, it would have been from the mentor's point of view. And for the Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes, it would have been Snow. So like, forget all of that, like assignment this, assignment that, we're trying to improve the Hunger Games, we want to make it more of a spectacle. Like, we would have just skipped all of that and we would have just started, you know what I mean, on Reaping Day. And we would have, from Snow's perspective, see Lucy Gray get chosen, and then, you know, Lucy Gray would have gotten on the train or whatever, and then it would have been like, we would have figured out all of that information that they took pages upon pages upon pages to write. We would have just kind of figured that out, and, you know, a paragraph here and a paragraph there about how it was put together, how they were making the 10th games different. And then we could have gone through all of the, you know, how they're making improvements, and stuff like that from Snow's perspective, instead of like it being Snow's perspective as a mentor, right? Instead of Snow's perspective like as a student becoming the first mentor of the Hunger Games, etc., etc. And then the way I think I would have liked the YA version to end, in like the epilogue or whatever, Snow wins the games, right? And by some way or another, he gets to take Lucy with him to the Victor's Village, which isn't a place that exists yet, but like that could have been something that Snow proposed, and then maybe during the games they would have been constructing the village, blah blah blah. By the time the games are over, Snow wins, and he gets the chance to, you know, that's his prize, Lucy Gray. He takes her there, they're a couple, but something happens, right? And then he poisons his own girl. And then that would have been very characteristic of Snow. Because again, in the book, in the original series, in the main series, Snow he's, right, an awful human being. He is, you know, completely ruthless, merciless. And we don't get that in this book here. We don't. Like I said, everything happens on accident. Like he is scared in this book. He doesn't, you know, he's just there. Like things are happening by chance to him, and he's not really making things happen. He's not born, or in this book, yeah, it's just he's not what he becomes. And it would just be easier to make the transition if as a kid he took no shit, you know what I mean? And so yeah, he would, you know, get Lucy and then he would kill her. I think that would have been more like Snow's character, you know what I mean? I think that would have been really interesting, very shocking, you know, very Hunger Games. So I think the prequel, if it didn't have to be YA, I think the book would start actually with the Hunger Games that Finnick was in. And Finnick would be the main character of this prequel. And everything, or most things, maybe could have been dual perspective, I don't know, but it could have been from Finnick's point of view. And because Finnick is the one, right, who knows all of the secrets. So it could have been Finnick's Hunger Games, you know, Finnick winning, Finnick going through what he had to go through the hands of Snow, and then us like figuring out all of those things through, you know, the people that Finnick was with. Now, of course, that idea, it does obviously need some stakes. So I don't exactly know what those stakes would be. Of course, it would take a lot more time to brainstorm, but I'm not necessarily going to waste my time because I'm not going to be writing it. You know, the book's already written and it is what it is, but I think that would be the story that a lot of people wanted, or at least things that we wanted to know. Maybe not the whole story had to be that, but we wanted to know what was going on. And okay, as far as stakes go though, it would be interesting if like Finnick, maybe in the next game he like rigs it or something. He helps rig it so that he can like get himself out of the position he's in. So like he helps make sure that like attractive young people are chosen so that he will be relieved of his duties, right? And then I think the epilogue would be something really cool, like Finnick figuring out that he has been chosen for the 75th Hunger Games. Like that would be the epilogue. Cool, right? Cool. And so, though, if it wasn't from Finnick's perspective and it wasn't YA, because I think if it was from Finnick's perspective, it might be triggering, very triggering, and maybe like graphic, depending. So I feel like we could start with that preface of Snow winning the 10th Hunger Games and go to his POV of like when the book starts, of, you know, him coming to his presidency and this and that, poisoning whoever. And then I feel like that though is the least interesting one. Like I think Finnick's POV, that would be the most adventurous one, but at least if it was just us from Snow's perspective getting the dirt on what he's doing, on who he's poisoning and why he's poisoning them, I think that would be interesting, though. I mean, boring or not as interesting as Finnick's POV, but like at least we would have gotten answers, you know? The current version of the book, it does not give us, it hardly gives us answers. So at least that version would have given us answers. And I think the epilogue of this third version would be him seeing the similarities between Lucy Gray and Katniss. And then we could have gotten just a little thing about how, like, it took him, seeing Katniss, it took him back to when he was 18 years old, mentoring Lucy Gray. And, like, he could tell that Katniss was going to be trouble. Something like that. Something really interesting. But yeah, that's it. If you are a longtime subscriber, I know it's been a while, so it's good to see you again. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, let me know what your ideas would be, because I'm curious, because even if you liked it, I'm sure there's a part of you that's like let down. So like, just let me know, what would your version of The Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes be? Also, let me know if you're planning on seeing the movie. I think it's going to be a decent adaptation, but I watched the trailer and I see that it's definitely the adaptation of this. So it's not going to be a good Hunger Games movie, but I think it's probably going to be a decent adaptation of the source material. What do you think? Are you going to go see it in theaters? Let me know. Start the discussion in the comments below. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!